With only a few days before Nahida's release, and especially after seeing her during the livestream, I know a lot of us, yes including me, are waiting patiently for the release of the baby Archon. With that said, I want to go over some of the things that you might want to prepare before she comes out. This video will not include leaks. For her materials, they showed us that the new boss, the Dendro Hypostasis, is supposed to come out in 3.2, so I'm assuming that she will use those, and unfortunately that means we can't pre-farm for her boss mats, so save your transient resin, save some fragiles if you have some, if you want the level 90 hero on day 1. And the local specialty that you might want to start collecting would be the Kalapada Lotus, because Dory is the only other character that uses this, as of the moment, and she's small, and so since Nahida is also small, you should collect these. As for her talent level up materials, we all know that the Traveler is loosely based off of the Archon of which element they're currently using. I'm going to guess that based off of the fact that Raiden uses handguards for her talents, as well as Electro MC also uses these handguards, the same handguards that Raiden uses. If the Dendro Traveler uses this fungus material for their talents, then I'm going to assume that this is also what Nahida would be using. For talent books, she is the God of Wisdom, so she's probably going to use the Guide to Ingenuity. It just wouldn't make sense if she didn't. For the artifacts, you will probably want to use the 4-piece Deepwood memory set because the 2-piece provides Dendro damage and the 4-piece gives you shred for your Dendro damage. You don't necessarily have to have this 4-piece on Nahida herself. I mentioned before that this 4-piece can be put on basically anyone. There is like no requirement. All you need to do is hit enemies. So anyone, literally anyone can use this. But if Nahida is the only Dendro user on the team, then it's just easier to use this on her. Other options, if you already have a 4-piece Deepwood user like Kale or maybe the Traveler on the same team, you could use 4-piece Gilded if you have a really good set, or a mix and match between the Deepwood 2-piece, because it, 2-piece gives you Dendro damage, with the Gilded which gives you EM, or Wonders which also gives you EM. These work if you're working towards a 4-piece with good stats. Speaking of good stats, you probably want a good crit ratio of course, but also try to get as much EM as you can, because she is Dendro and we already know Dendro reactions favor EM a lot of the time over attack, so keep that in mind. Also, a little energy recharge never hurts. Currently, these are the artifacts I have. They're not that good, especially this goblet, it's kinda copium. But these will do for now. And they're okay. For her weapons, her signature weapon is obviously going to have insane synergy with her kit, probably going to be an EM weapon. Again, I would never suggest pulling on a weapon banner, but since she is being ran with Yoimiya, I'm going to assume that they're running the Thundering Pulse as well, so the weapon banner is actually pretty decent. For other options, if you have Kagura's Verity, it's going to be really good because from the trailer they really emphasize the importance of the skill, so I'm assuming that it's going to contribute to the bulk of her damage. And also because this weapon has 66% crit damage. Widsith is also always a good 4-star with the biggest crit damage stat on a 4-star, as far as I know, and the passive that can give you attack, elemental damage bonus, or EM, which will all be really good on Nahida. The sacrificial fragments, if you have it leveled for Sucrose, could be a good option because of the skill reset and EM substat. I also think that the craftable Mapamare is decent on her, 1 because it's craftable and it has an EM substat, and 2 because the passive provides you with an elemental damage bonus. For 3 stars, Magic Guide might be a solid choice. It does have a low base attack but gives around 190 EM on the substat. Also, the passive of the weapon is similar to Dragon's Bane and Lion's Roar. It increases your damage on opponents affected by Hydro or Electro, and since a lot of the meta Dendro comps revolve around Bloom and Quicken, and all of the sub-reactions like Burgeon, Hyper Bloom, Aggravate, and Spread, this 3-star weapon has some potential. For team comps, like I said a while ago, the Traveler is usually very similar to the Archons in terms of what they provide to the team. Venti has a Black Hole, Anemo Traveler has a Tornado, Zhongli summons a big meatball, Traveler makes a crater, and also summons a smaller meatball, which can also do a lot of damage. Raiden batteries your team and does insane amounts of damage on field. Electro MC also batteries your team. So usually it's a weaker version of the Archon. Traveler's role as a Dendro unit right now revolves around being a really good Dendro applicator off field. So I feel like Nahida could probably be a straight upgrade to Traveler as an off-field Dendro applicator in those teams. She could also possibly be a good on-field applicator because she's a Catalyst user and can apply Dendro damage with her normal attacks. So this may open up some more options for Dendro teams because as of the moment, Tignari is our only on-field Dendro applicator, but he does it in bursts. Nahida is different as she would be able to perform the role of a consistent on-field Dendro applicator. That basically concludes this video. I hope this was useful for at least some people, and if you guys have any, questions, corrections, I don't know, anything you would like to say, feel free to put them in the comments. Also, follow me on Twitch if you haven't yet. I stream almost every day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.